Australia drags itself along with US in war over Chinese invasion of Taiwan. China has started giving threats to the other countries who dare to stand up against China. This time China has threatened to attack Australia if Australia drags itself along with US in war over Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Communist CCP China's mouthpiece, the Global Times, has started its old tricks to throw empty threats on other sovereign nations who dare to stand up against China. This time through an article published in the Global Times on April 19, 2021, Communist CCP China has threatened an Australian invasion in the event that Australia interfere over Chinese invasion of the independent Taiwan, whose sovereignty and independence China disregards. The Australian military deeply knows that the Taiwan question concerns the core interest of China, and if Australia uses force against China, China will definitely deal a heavy blow to Australia. Here comes an interesting part wherein China tries to dismiss Australia as even capable of any action except serving as an advanced base for US. Seems like China has forgotten history of World War II, wherein despite the fact that no individual nation was capable of fighting alone against Germany, it was the Allied forces consisting of forces from many nations that unitedly fought against Germany. Article writes: Australia is geographically far from Taiwan. It serves more as an advanced base in the Asia-Pacific and a supply base for the US. US forces have deployed Marines and bombers to its base in Australia. The Australian Defence Force comprises of only around 60,000 permanent personnel, and the number of forces that it could devote to a war effort is even less. Here comes the direct threat of Australian invasion and the losses a war would incur to Australia. If Australia wants to get involved in the Taiwan question, it will consider whether China will use its forces to strike back at Australia, and if so, whether the US has the ability and will to protect Australia. That is what worries the Australian military most. To its dismay, the US would probably protect itself once a crisis occurs, and the Australian military must weigh up what losses a war would incur to Australia.